Hi everyone, my name is Arvinolano and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, nobody asked, but in today's video, I am going to be sharing my top tips on how to thrift for home decor like a pro. So vintage and antiques are probably one of my favorite ways to elevate any space. I actually brought one of my vintage finds with me in the car so I could show you, and it is this hand-carved Italian alabaster vessel. And you guys, this is so gorgeous. I recently photographed it for a brand campaign and it looked so good on my modern coffee table. Something like this would probably cost you like upwards of $1,000 if you were to buy it from First Dibs or Cherish, and this thing is like solid alabaster. It's so heavy. I got it from an antique mall for around $50. Today, I'm gonna be taking you to some of my favorite antique malls and give you my tips on how you can find amazing pieces just like this one. All right, so before we head inside, I do wanna say thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. I actually just took a class on product photography by Rachel Gulota and Daniel Inskeep. And in that class, I really loved how Rachel talked about how you can take one product and kind of shoot it in a different way, a different perspective. My first instinct is to actually shoot it head on, but in this class, I learned that you can like go on top of something and kind of give it an aerial view, and the shot just looked so cool, so inspiring. Now, whether you're into interior design, photography, drawing, entrepreneurship, there's bound to be a class that's just for you. So the first 1,000 people to use that link down below in my description box will get a free trial of Skillshare's premium membership. All right, so let's go inside and look for some treasures.
We've been on and off again and again. I don't know which way we're going, no control. You push me, then you pull me back in. Don't know if I can decipher how you...
So I always save my favorite photos on Instagram or Pinterest of accounts that have really dope vintage items, whether they have stools, little side tables, or maybe even vessels. These vintage milking stools are so awesome because you get the patina of that solid wood color. Like, this is so nice. I love the visually interesting legs, and when you put these in a photo or any interior design, you get like this dimensional effect.
Yeah, you leave me wondering what it's like to feel your skin. I will keep on trying till you give me a sign. Give me a sign.
So when it comes to the prices, you have to ask yourself, are you okay with paying that much for this item? Antique malls are my favorite because you can actually offer a lower price than what's on the ticket.
Oh, give me a sign. Baby, give me a sign. Just give me one more.
So vessels, antique pottery, antique ceramics are some of my favorite things to look for in thrift stores, antique malls. You always want to make sure that it has a maker's mark underneath the piece. This usually means that someone made it by hand, it's made of beautiful quality.
You leave me hanging, begging for more. Think that I'm addicted to this, can't resist to be a little risky and go for it, cause I want you close, I'm so exposed.
So you can always change the color of an item. Like, I think the shape of this vessel is really pretty, and I like the carving, the indentations. So if you don't like the color of something, you can always change that, right? Like with wood, you can bleach it, you can stain it. With pottery and vessels, you can give it a fresh coat of paint. You could always make it your own.
I'm so exposed when you're keeping me wondering. You know I'd do anything to be in your arms again.
So I just saw a mid-century chair, 50s. It's like a hoop chair, and it's structurally so amazing. I'm working on my studio right now that needs a chair like that. Mid-century furniture is something you have to keep a lookout for, especially if you like vintage. Even if you don't have like a straight mid-century style, you can always incorporate those iconic pieces into your home, and when I'm telling you, it makes it so good, you guys. Comment down below if you like that chair. So when it comes to furniture, I would definitely stay away from anything that's upholstered unless you plan on reupholstering them. Anything that's fabric just has that chance of being kind of smelly, you know, and it's hard to take that odor out. One thing I will say, you always need to look at beautiful quality materials. You can just tell, like, this leather is so plush. It's $850 for this piece, but you can tell, like, it's solid.
So give me a sign.
So I only found one item in that antique mall, and that is key. You're looking for items that people have overlooked, that really special piece at a great price point. Sometimes you'll only find one item, sometimes you won't find anything, but you want to make sure you visit a couple of different stores. That way you can score those amazing pieces. I love looking at different neighborhoods because one store could price things that are super expensive and another neighborhood could price things that are really cheap. So let's go ahead and head to another store.
Give me a sign. Oh, give me a sign. Baby, give me a sign. Just give me one more.
There's something about these chairs. I love the shape, the spindles. They look super old. I always look at the tag and see what it says. So it's an Ethan Allen vintage Windsor armchair. $9.50 for the pair. That's a little expensive. So then what I will do is I'll actually Google that name and I'll see what Ethan Allen chairs are selling for online. And let me actually do that right now. Okay, so I looked it up and they are selling on Cherish. There's like a set of 6 for only like $300. So that is way overpriced. That's why I always like to check everything because I don't want to buy anything that's like too expensive. I think they are so cool, but definitely not worth $9.50. You can always find like aesthetically pleasing books at antique malls. Like I love this green. I love the beige with like the gold. You can even do like a black. So you always want to look inside the cabinets anytime you're in a booth. This is normally where they keep all of like the good stuff. Sometimes a little more expensive, but sometimes it's not bad. Here's another case, and inside you have this museum replica of a bust, and you can tell because it has this little tag on its ear. I don't know what they're called, but usually that's what museum replicas have. I've been eyeing her for a little while. She's a little expensive. So sculptures like this are always good to find in antique malls because you can find some that are super unique, not like that kind of bust that everyone has. These are a little more special, and even something like this too. They might be like a little bit pricey than some of the other items, but you really get that quality compared to if you were buying it from like Home Goods. So one of my favorite sculpture finds was actually inspired by Athena Calderon. I've seen her living room photos with this green deco face sculpture, and I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, I want one of those. And one day I went antiquing, I saw the silhouette of the same green sculpture on a shelf, and I was like, girl, I found the exact same sculpture, and I wouldn't have found that if I didn't like take inspo from her photos. So another thing you can do is save photos that you like from your favorite creators, and you can find something similar, but if you're lucky, you could even find the exact same things. I mean, literally, what were the chances of me finding that piece? You tell me, but I found it, I manifested it, and it's one of my favorites. You can always find like really cool vintage art pieces. This one is $180. It looks to be original, like an oil canvas. I love a good like gold framed piece. I actually had a table exactly like this. It's by Benny Linden, and it's solid teak, so you know it's really good quality. And that's the thing when you're shopping vintage, you guys. When it's solid, it's solid. These don't look as nice. Like these look like a veneer, so you have to make sure you're getting really, really beautiful qualities. You always want to look for natural materials, you guys, like marble, travertine, wood. Like this is really good quality. This part is a little too much for me, but the top is classic. You can't go wrong with a good marble. It's always the solid, natural materials that are super expensive in the modern age. So if you could get it for a little bit cheaper, vintage or antique, you're winning. So I usually walk around at least twice in an antique mall or a vintage shop. That way I don't miss anything. I look at every shelf, every little corner, because that treasure could be just like underneath something. You know what I mean? All right, everyone, that was it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you found it helpful, make sure you sound off in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.